Z Nation, issue number 5 from Dynamite Comics. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. Z Nation's like one of the few shows that I actually watch on TV. I'll say Z Nation, Rick and Morty, South Park, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia are the only like series that I watch outside of like sports. And the show's really fucking good. Like anyone who's like on the fence about whether I should watch it or not, yes, watch it. I mean, at first I was kind of put off by it because I thought, oh man, this is nothing but like a low budget ripoff of The Walking Dead. Nope, I couldn't be more wrong. It basically takes the zombie apocalypse and it has fun with it. Like there's a moment with like a giant cheese wheel runs over zombies. There's like a whole episode dedicated to Mad Max, where a group of heroes trying to protect this convoy from bandits as well as zombies. There's stuff like zombie bears in this series, so like it is very. I mean, there's a whole episode where they go to Area 51 and there's like zombie aliens, kind of. So like the whole thing is really, I don't want to say goofy because it takes itself seriously, but at the same time it doesn't. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's amazing. It's a great series. I highly recommend watching it. I actually love this show more than I do The Walking Dead. Like The Walking Dead, I watched some of it and I was like, this is boring. It's just mostly people talking with a little bit of zombies. No, in Z Nation, zombies are the forefront, and then you just have like crazy like action and scenarios accompany all that. So yes, there's my little pitch to the TV series. Definitely watch it. So when I went to the comic book store and I saw, oh hey, there's actually a series, I decided, hey, let's pick it up and give it a whirl. And I'm actually enjoying it. Outside of one character, none of the characters from the show appear on this. And the one character that is in this is only in the first issue, and that's it. He kind of just gives our heroes their mission. And the funny thing is that in the TV series, he actually dies in like episode 5 or 6. Like it was kind of interesting what they did. Basically, they portrayed it like he was going to be our hero. He's the leader of the group. And then like 5 or 6 episodes in, they kill him off. And then this other character actually becomes the hero. And she actually does a really good job. Everyone actually does a pretty damn good job on that show. But yeah, so I forgot his name. He appears in the first issue, gives our heroes their mission, and yeah. So yeah, our two main characters are special forces. The leader is named Israel, and then the other one is named Edie, and they're actually pretty cool characters. Like Israel, he kind of seems disillusioned, might be the term I would use. Like basically, you can tell that the zombie apocalypse has kind of taken a toll on him, and he's very apathetic about life. Like he's not like emo or whiny or anything like that. Like far from it. He's just very quiet, and he's one of those where like death doesn't phase him in any way, and even like his mortality doesn't seem to play a big part in anything. Like he kind of comes across as if I die, then I die. And then we have Edie, who is the butch lesbian who kicks a lot of ass. I guess would be the best way to explain. Like that's a terrible explanation for her. She's actually a fun character. Like I got no complaints with her whatsoever. But yeah, that's kind of what she is. She's like the big butch lesbo who swings not necessarily a sword, but it's almost like the like a paper slicer with shark teeth attached to it. It sounds weird, but it works. So basically, these two and two other characters who get killed off in, I think, issue 2, they are tasked with this mission where they have to find Soylent Z. And Soylent Z was basically this thing that FEMA was developing when the zombie infection outbreak was first starting. And basically, it's like this powder that you add water to it, and like one pouch of it can feed a family of 6 for a whole day. So basically, in this world where food is scarce, this is like a gold mine because you can feed like a whole camp for a good chunk of time. And basically, they actually come from a camp that their food sources are running very low, and they're not going to last for very long. So these 4 soldiers are basically assigned this task of finding the Soylent Z. And then they go to track it down. 2 of them get killed off, and all that's left is Israel and Eddie. And basically, this cruise ship hijacks the the Soylent Z and brings it on board their ship. So Israel and Eddie, I keep saying Eddie, Israel and Edie go on board the ship to try to retake the Soylent Z. They get captured. Edie gets taken downstairs with this cowgirl. And they want Edie to join their group because women are kind of, I don't want to say scarce, but women are kind of seen as, I guess, more valuable than men for obvious reasons. Oh, and by the way, in case anyone's worrying, there's no like rapey stuff at all in this series so far. And I mean, there's none of that in the TV series, so I don't think they're going to go in that direction with this series. While Z Nation is, I would like to describe it as a dramedy. Like there's drama and there's serious stuff happening, but there's also like comedic moments. So I don't really think they're ever going to touch on rape and stuff like that. So in case that's like something you guys are worried about, you guys don't have to. But anyways, back to this. So yeah, they take Edie downstairs. Meanwhile, they start torturing Israel when all of a sudden zombie whales attack the ship. And no, I'm not making a joke. Zombie whales attack the ship and capsize it. So now we got this whole Poseidon Adventures thing going on where the ship is capsized, water is leaking in, zombies are on the loose, and these characters basically have to get from the top of the ship, which is now the very lowest part of the ship, to the bottom of the ship, which is the part that's up facing the surface. So yeah, we start off with Israel being attacked by a zombie bear. So basically, there's a zombie polar bear. The zombie polar bear was like, I guess, some kind of exhibit on the ship. And yeah, there were zombie bears. Like, I mean, there's zombie bears, there's zombie whales, there's zombie crows. There's zombie, like, everything. Like, every animal can become a zombie in this. And it's the same way for the TV series as well. So, I mean, how can you not love this series? So, yeah, Israel is able to free himself, and he basically battles this zombie polar bear as, like, the water is rushing in. Meanwhile, we cut to the cowgirl and Edie, and they're kind of trapped below because there's these basically safety bulkheads that have kind of slammed shut once the ship capsized, and they're being attacked by zombies. So we get some kind of cool action scenes with the cowgirl like shooting the zombies with her shotgun, while Edie goes melee on their asses. And then back to the bridge, we get one of these characters. His name is Gingerhead, and before the zombie apocalypse happened, he was a prop comic. So he's like an obvious take on Carrot Top. And post zombie apocalypse, his job is basically he like reports the news about what's happening in the world, and pretty much the whole world's like been taken over by zombies. So the captain of the ship tells Gingerhead to release the safety bulk doors so that they can escape. And as soon as Gingerhead does, water comes in and drowns him. And basically, the captain's like first mate, the second in command, basically gets pissed off at the captain, like kind of saying like, you did that knowing that as soon as Gingerhead released the bulkheads, we would all drown. And the captain basically says he was at the bridge, which is right now the lowest part of the ship. There was no way he would have made it anyways, but at least now that with the bulkheads released, the rest of us have a chance of surviving. But we get this moment where basically the second in command doesn't trust the captain anymore. I mean, he's still working with him, but he kind of thinks like the captain is willing to sacrifice lives as long as if he makes it. So now we got some distrust between those guys. And then we cut back to Cowgirl and Edie, and we see a janitor. In a previous life, he was Magic Dan, the magician, but now he's just basically a glorified janitor. And his whole story was that he had like a daughter who left the ship after like hearing news about like army camps being like, you know, safe. So she like went out to go explore. And well, at least that's the story he was told, but he actually sees his daughter amongst the zombies, and she's a zombie herself. And of course, he goes to her and hugs her, and then the zombie bites her, and he becomes a zombie. And meanwhile, Cowgirl is like, but the captain said that, you know, she had left the ship. And now Edie is like, yeah, I don't think you can really trust anything the captain says. So now we get this little seeds being planted that now the Cowgirl doesn't trust the captain. So she might end up joining the Israel and Edie as well. Because that's usually how things go in the TV series. You get like makeshift people joining in. Sometimes they start off as hostile. Like one of them, Scorpio, is actually the main antagonist. of season 2, and then he kind of joins them in the season finale, and then he becomes like a regular part of the group in season 3. So yeah, it's kind of weird how they do stuff like that. But and then we cut back to Israel, and I love this part. Um, Basically, the water level is rising. The polar zombie bear is getting closer, and Israel's like, screw this. If I'm going out, it's going to be badass. And then he like dives at the polar bear, and that's how the issue ends. So yeah, that was Z Nation issue number 5. I'm like so disappointed that I didn't see this series earlier, because I would have started from the very get-go if it has, because I actually really enjoy Z Nation, the TV series. I think a lot of people like give a bad rep because it's by the Asylum. The Asylum is one of those where either you love it or you hate them, because they do a lot of the, I guess what they call like mock films. Like when Alien vs Predator comes out, they come out with Alien vs Hunter. When Transformers comes out, they come out with their own called Transmorphers. Like they basically do like knockoff films. But they've actually done some other series where like some of the original stuff are kind of good. Like Sharknado. It's like stuff where you can tell that they're just like, fuck it, this is a crazy premise, let's just have fun with it. That's basically what Z Nation is. Z Nation is kind of like, you know what? Instead of making a zombie apocalypse all like drab and dramatic and serious and cynical, let's just have fun with this. Everyone's a zombie. Let's just come up with crazy adventures for our heroes to go on, and crazy like segments and scenarios to put them in. And that's basically Z Nation in a nutshell. It's just basically, let's take the zombie apocalypse and let's just have fun with it. And that translates over to the comic issues really good. So I recommend, if you like zombie stuff, pick up Z Nation. It's fun. It's entertaining. And watch the show. I think the show really deserves a chance. I will say the first few episodes aren't the greatest, especially the very first one. But after that, the series starts getting a lot better. Because I felt like at first they kind of didn't really know what direction they wanted to go in. But then by episode like 8, 9, stuff like that, it feels like they finally find us like, okay, here's our little groove. Here's our little niche that we're going to try to capture. Here's basically, they feel a lot more comfortable in their shoes as the series goes on. And with every new episode, it seems like they're starting to find their identity. That's what I'm trying to say. Their identity. Like in the very first couple episodes, it feels like they don't really know what their identity is. But as the series goes along, it feels like they find their identity, and it's a really good series. I recommend it. So yeah, Z Nation issue number 5. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Later.